1920s was known as the Jazz Age. But as Latin American immigration surged in the 1930s, New York ballrooms exploded with the sounds of rumba, a version of Afro-Cuban beat adapted for East Coast ballrooms. A combination of American big band music with Afro-Cuban rhythm, headlined by top Cuban, Dominican, and Puerto Rican musical stars, the rumba craze took over the nation in the early 1930s, and even movie stars were dancing to the rhythm in Hollywood films. This Latin music craze was so popular that the rumba was once prohibited in some places because it was viewed as dangerous and too sexually charged. But it goes without saying that this only made it more popular. For Trópico Macbeth, John wanted to recreate the music of the 1930s live. During the governor's inauguration gala scene in the play, he wanted nothing less than an 18 to 20-piece orchestra playing 4 top musical numbers from the era and dozens of couples dancing to the beat. But how do you create this magical scene with no musicians, no musical instruments, no money, and in less than 4 hours? Well, I better let our good friend, actor, and musician, Tim Gao, tell you about it.
Hi, my name is Tim Gao. I'm a local actor and musician in Northeast Ohio. I've just started working on this project, Trópico Macbeth.
Now, Tim, I take it this kind of project is a new experience, something entirely different to what you're used to.
The wonderful thing about this particular experience is that I happen to be working with a bunch of people who are not musicians.
So John is having you put together an orchestra with people who know nothing about music and even less about playing an instrument?
Not only are they not playing real instruments, just shadow instruments, but they are literally people who know nothing about the instruments themselves.
Now back up a moment. I want to make sure I hear you right. These people absolutely have never touched an instrument, and the ones they will play on are fake?
So the particular instruments are going to be played in sort of a shadow play in order to portray the orchestras. And what they've done is they've created these phenomenal instruments completely out of cardboard, dowel rods, whatever you can imagine. I think there's some tape over here. We've got trombone. We've got an accordion that actually moves. We have bongos, cellos. We have clarinets and trumpets. You would not believe the instrumentation that they have. They've got a piano coming up, which I didn't get to see yet, but I think it's going to be absolutely cool. And I think it's just exciting because shadow play is very much actually akin to puppet theater, which adds another depth to these actors who have never worked with this stuff before.
So, how do you prepare to do this? What is the trick?
So, I've worked as a musician for well over 40 years. I know all of the instruments and how they moved, and basically I spent the entire day coaching people on how to hold the instrument, what their rhythms were, and literally these folks blossomed.
You mean they just became musicians?
I don't know how to explain it, but they literally just took on a completely different tone. I mean, they're actors, so suddenly they're all playing instruments. I mean, literally we had one of the bass players suddenly start spinning the bass towards the third song that we were recording, so it was absolutely beautiful.
Have you worked before with the Latinos Theater or with John?
This is the first time I've ever been to this theater. I've known John for 20 plus years, and this place, first of all, is state of the art. It feels wonderful. The technology that they have with a projection, rear projection screen, the space that they have is phenomenal, and it happens to be on West 25th Street, where there is a dearth. I mean, there really isn't that much theater in this area. So if you have an opportunity, I've seen the photographs they've done. I've seen some videos of shows that they've done. Their work is phenomenal. If you want to see something very professional, and multilingual, you gotta come here. It's one of the greatest theaters I have ever experienced before.
Tim, thank you so much. We're so very fortunate to have such a multi-talented artist making Trópico Macbeth come alive to full musical splendor. Now, remember that piano he mentioned? Well, even though I can't play a note, here am I blossoming into a piano diva, thanks to John, Tim, and all the talented cast of actors and technicians who made this moment a reality. So buy your ticket and come see the magic. What are you waiting for? Trópico Macbeth.